Hey guys, welcome back to my Patreon, or if you're new, thank you for joining. I appreciate your support. Today I just have a super fun Vinyasa flow that actually was on my Instagram. So pretty much what I'm doing, a lot of my flows I place, time-lapsed on my Instagram. So on my Patreon specifically, I'm breaking them down for you and breaking down, the movements, how I get there, what you should be feeling. So this one, it'll just be a super fun 60-minute Vinyasa flow. We'll start off slow. I'll cue what I'm doing, kind of get you into that position for the first few rounds. And then after that, we're kind of just gonna go and link it with our breath to movement. So I like to preface these classes with, if I'm going too slow for you or I'm going too fast for you, that's definitely okay, as long as you're sticking with your breath to movement and finding some type of moving meditation, that moving state of mind. That's kind of all I ask for you here. So take what you need from my class, take out what you don't like, what doesn't feel good in your body. I just want you to make this 60 minutes worth it for you, and I'm just happy to be able to guide you through it. So today we'll get started here on our or in child's pose rather. So knees out wide towards the edges of the mat, and really sink the heels or sink the hips down towards the heels. And then slowly start to spider crawl those hands up towards the front of the mat as you lay the chest or the chin down. So just settling in for a little bit here. Maybe you place that third eye in the mat here too. Just get heavy. Maybe you shake the head left to right just to relax the neck. And just focus on your own breath here. So we're not trying to, have any Ujjayi pranayama just yet. If that is something that you do practice, I will cue you when it's that time. But just for now, I want you to focus on really finding that deep belly breath, belly inhalation, filling up at that center part here. And then as you exhale, just really push it all away, get small in this diaphragm. Big inhale. And just make sure you're finding that equal exhalation out. Kind of work on maybe removing or eliminating any distractions you may hear or see, or what you might have waiting for you. Just really hone in for these next 60 minutes and carve out that time for yourself. Keeping that neck long and straight. Okay, now let's pop up on the fingertips. So the elbow should lift off the mat here too. That's going to allow us to kind of open up in the shoulders just a little bit more and push some weight back towards our heels. So as though you have maybe a cupcake or something under your fingers, you don't want to smush it. Keep it that movement or that action there with the hands. Awesome. Now we're going to spider crawl both of the hands over the left side of the mat. So you can remove them being on the fingertips here. Maybe you place the left palm firmly on the ground and that right palm will go right on top of it. I like to kind of gaze over and under my right bicep just so I can get that left temple closer to the mat and really feel and breathe into that right side body, keeping that right hip bone, sit bone grounded. Just a few breaths. When I always start my practice, I love keeping my eyes closed. I think that also just adds and helping me really drop into this moment at this time with myself and my body. And when you close your eyes, you're removing that sight, right? You're removing that sensation, so you have to focus on what you're hearing, how you're feeling, and let your body do the talking. And we'll come back to center and then we'll switch sides. So bring that right palm onto the mat and that left palm will go right above it. Maybe grabbing that right wrist and really breathe into that left side body once again, keeping the hips heavy. Think about letting that inhalation fill up all the crevices in between the rib cages, the rib bones. I guess the rib bones, not the rib cages, huh? Just a few rounds. Awesome. Coming back to center here, all we're going to do, we're going to thread our right hand over under our chest and over to the left side of the room, so that right shoulder blade and maybe that right temple will be on the ground as well. Just finding an added shoulder opener here as we still get heavy in the hips. Left hand, kind of whatever you like. I like to kind of go back to that cupcake action so my elbow can stay down. I'm flexing and actively working into that left arm. Awesome. And coming back to center, we'll switch sides here. So we'll thread our left arm over under our chest towards the right side of the room. And placing that left temple on the mat here as well. So today's class, we're going to get an option as well to work into forearm stand and, some dolphin prep, dolphin poses here. So it should be pretty fun. So we want to make sure we have some open shoulders, strong forearms, and of course that mental focus. Okay, come back to center here. And all we're going to do, maybe you bring your knees in just a little bit so they probably won't be towards the edges of the mat anymore. Just kind of bring them up over, maybe by the triceps. And we're going to just spider crawl the hand up as we lift the hips up as well, finding puppy pose. So just as much as you can today, maybe the chin touches the mat, or maybe if you do have that openness, the chest can touch the mat. Wherever you are today is definitely okay. Even if your puppy pose kind of looks like this, you're still getting that openness. You're still feeling that stretching action of the shoulders. So just settle in wherever you are today. I keep the gaze towards the front of the mat as well. You don't want to twist the neck. That's just going to add some pain, some tension that we don't need. And we're again keeping those hips above the knees as well. Maybe the toes. I like tucking my toes. It kind of just helps me find some firm foundation in this pose, but they don't have to be tucked necessarily. You can have them flat on the mat too. Let's close your eyes and imagine that chest just melting on towards the mat. Nice heart opener, shoulder opener. All right, on our next exhale, we're just going to find that wave-like motion as we place the stomach onto the mat, finding the Finks Pose. So here in Finks Pose, we want to find a pulling action with our forearms. So you want the palms firmly planted, toes untucked, and keep the elbows over the shoulders and really just pull that chest up and through towards the top of the room. You want to keep a nice straight gaze towards the front of the room as well. You want to keep that neck long. And just breathe. Really just think about pulling those elbows towards the hip bones. Maybe you play with extending the arms out long, so we will move there as well. So keeping the palms flat, just inhale as we bring the arms up, elbows up. If this is ever too much for you, definitely stay here today, or you can always experiment with just bringing the hands out a little bit further for a full Cobra. But just for today, we'll stick to the Finks and just up towards the front of the room. So we'll have the feet on the corner edges of the mat as well. And this is a nice back bend. And again, another heart chest opener. Maybe we gaze over the right shoulder towards the back of the mat, and then over towards the left. And we'll exhale down to that Finks Pose once more. And then we'll bring the third eye to the mat as well. And now we'll move into oscillating Cobra poses. So what I mean by that here, we're going to have the hands on the outside of the mat, probably kind of center with the eyesight or towards the rib cages here, keeping the fingertips firmly up like you have that cupcake again under the hand. As you inhale, just push on up. Gaze is last. And then let that exhalation bring you back down. So this is kind of a perfect example by what I mean, going by your own breath. So knowing those inhales will let you extend up towards the sky, and your exhales will always bring you back and ground you to the mat. And you don't even have to necessarily extend the leg or the arms out this long. If you're here today, that's definitely fine. And then just bring it right back down. So whatever feels good in your body. So of course I am your teacher and I'm guiding you through this, but nobody knows your body like yourself. So always come back to that if you're ever wondering, you know, is this feeling good? Should I be doing this? And just a few more rounds. Big inhale up and exhale to the mat. All right, last round here. Big inhale up and exhale to the mat. And we'll extend the feet towards the sky and we'll just find some windshield wiper action. So whichever temple is more comfortable on the mat, left or right, knees stay planted and we'll just flex the heel towards the sky as we go from left to right here. Awesome. Now we'll meet in tabletop. So from tabletop, you want the shoulders over the wrist, of course, and we want to keep those knees over our hips. Stay firmly planted into the ground here with the palms and really found a rounding action of the shoulder blades. So think about stretching those shoulder blades off and away from one another. Finding just a little rounding action. And when you are ready, we'll find cat-cow movement here to warm up the spine. So as we inhale, let's drop the belly and shift the gaze towards the sky. And then as we exhale, we're going to round upper, mid, lower back, finding that cat position. Inhale as we extend towards the sky, gaze is last. Bringing that chest up and over. And exhale, round. Let's see. Inhale that chest through. And exhale to round. Just a few more rounds. Maybe you find some movements, like some internal movement. So what I mean by that is instead of just doing the traditional cat and cow, maybe you barrel roll at the belly. So finding just a circular motion, circular position. Maybe you go back to child's pose for a moment, then come back up. Some figure 8 poses, whatever you are feeling today, whatever your body's tuning into, lean into that intuition, lean into those tugs. A couple more rounds. Okay, finishing up that last round, staying in that neutral tabletop position, guys. I'm going to walk us through some Dolphin Prep and some Forearm Prep poses. So here we are in our tabletop position. We're simply going to place those forearms back on the mat, but I want to work through a few things here first. So let's just walk through this really quick. So in forearm plank, in dolphin pose, whichever you're working on or wherever you are, you always want to check your width. So what I mean by that, are your elbows about shoulder width apart? You'll know by going like this. If your hands can easily grab, both elbows, opposite hands on opposite elbows, you're golden. You don't want them too far out. You're gonna just collapse in. And if they're just too much in, it's gonna be so hard to try to, find any inversion there. So we have our shoulders about elbow width apart, or elbow shoulder width apart. And then we wanna keep those forearms firmly planted. Now I like to give a few options because I know it's gonna feel differently in everyone's body. So we'll do 2 rounds of Dolphin Prep, Dolphin Pose, so you can kind of play with both if you want. The first round, we're just gonna have our forearms flat. The second round, we'll do clasped hands so you can see kind of what feels good in your body. So keeping those forearms flat here, find that cat-like movement again, that cat-like sensation where the shoulder blades are spreading. We're gonna tuck those back toes here, and all we're gonna do as we exhale is extend the legs long. That's all I want us to do right now. You should already feel some sensation, some pushing into the forearms. Again, lean into that, assist the push, let it happen. Bring the chest to the thigh. Okay, keeping the fingers planted here as well. If the heels are not on the ground, that's fine. That's not the goal of this pose anyways. The goal of this pose is to build up some strength in the shoulder and the core. So from here, all I want you to do is walk up as much as you feasibly can. If that's here today, then that's here and that's great. If you have the momentum, if you have the openness, keep walking, keep walking, keep walking. Just gaze right in between the forearms here, guys, to keep the neck nice and straight. And just breathe. Now this is, I would argue, almost harder than Pigeon because we're just holding, right? We're just holding, we're building strength, we're letting those shoulders get the strength. That's a big factor in those poses, in forearm poses. So if you're feeling the burn in the shoulders, you should be. So we'll just be here for 10, 9, 6, 3, pushing away, 2, and 1. Walk back out, finding child's pose. So knees can be in towards the chest, or you can extend them to the edges of the mat, whichever is more comfortable for you. I personally like keeping them close after, Dolphin Prep or Dolphin Pose, just because it helps me elongate my side body more. And just come back to your breath. You know where we're going. You know we have one more round, so just get in that mental state, that mental awareness of where we are going. Awesome. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to just come back to a forearm position here. Now, if you know you don't like the clasped hands, definitely don't go there. Stay how you are. If you want to experiment, all you're going to do is interlace the hands. Of course, our elbows are still shoulder width apart. Interlace the hands, and as we go up, guys, really, really, really hold onto this hand like your life depends on it, right? Just squeeze and hold, squeeze and hold. Okay, so we'll get ready here. So let's tuck those toes. We'll be here for a few moments. I'll count us down to 10. And when you are ready, exhale, extend those legs up. Okay, maybe you play with that. Like, see what I mean? Like, ooh, push the thigh towards the chest. Or like pushing it up, you'll see how much the shoulders work here in both of those positions, both of these movements. Okay, guys, so let's do it again. Let's walk up as much as we can today. I know with me, with my clasped hands, I can just get closer to my elbows. I personally like clasped hands more. So just find something to gaze at, work on walking. If you want to, you can always extend the leg up and extend the other. You'll see how it helps you push and stack those hips over the shoulders. Or just stay. Just come back to your breath, guys. I'll start counting us down. From 10. 7. 4. 2. And 1. Finding that child's pose once more here. Good job. Those are not easy. So I also like with my child's pose, so this is kind of a lazy rabbit pose, I guess you could say. Child's pose like this, after like working those shoulder blades so much, it might feel nice to just bring the hands back towards the heels so those shoulder blades can really get heavy and just melt over both sides of the body. And come back to your breath for just a moment. We kind of got right into some of those harder poses here, guys, so good job doing those with me. Okay, when you are ready, we're going to meet in downward facing dog. So here in downward facing dog, it's the first one of the day possibly, and if that is the case, just walk it out, just find some movements. Here in the Vinyasa flows, I'll definitely cue the first couple of rounds like I mentioned, but after that, we're going to kind of move a little fast here, or just kind of link the breath to movement, less instruction, more moving, less of me blabbing so you can kind of focus and center in. So here, still in this dolphin pose, just feel free to walk it on out. Really push the hands into the mat. Dig that thumb and index finger into the mat as well. Externally rotate so those elbow ditches are kind of facing the front of the room and the elbows are going back towards the toes. Really push those hips up towards the sky. A slight bend in the knees if needed is always, always, always okay, guys. And really just visualize that chest melting onto the thigh.
And we'll be here for just a few rounds. We'll go through a few Sun A's here, Surya Namaskara A, just to warm up the body. And you're probably like, what the heck, didn't we just warm up the body? This will still be good just to open up a few spaces here. So we'll inhale, heels up, and exhale, heels down. So one more time, big inhale, heels up. Exhale, heels towards the right side of the room. So the outer edge blade of the left foot will be on the mat. Generous bend in that right knee possibly. Inhale to center, and let's exhale those heels back to the left side of the room. Okay, and we'll inhale to center, and as we exhale, we're just gonna walk to the top of our mat. Once we're there, we'll inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, halfway lift, push. So you know that pushing action we found in Sphinx? Find it here too, whether you're on your hands, whether you're on blocks, or whether you're on your fingertips. Just push back towards the back of the mat. Find that nice hamstring stretch. Maybe I feel it in my lower back, my hips here when I'm doing this. And exhale, fold. Good job. This time, big inhales, we root to rise. Arms overhead, shape of the sun. Palms meet, and we'll exhale those palms to heart center and to our thighs, to our side. Big inhale, arms up, and exhale, hinge at the hips as we fold down, finding a micro bend in the knees. Big inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, walk or hop back, finding plank pose. So we just want to firmly push into the mat, pushing into the hands, strong on the ball mounds of both feet as the heels are up high. Just for 3, 2, and 1. Slowly exhale to chaturanga. So elbows bent. Inhale, untuck the toes, shine the chest through for upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog, hips to the sky. Awesome. Let's do about 2 more rounds of that. So inhale, the heels up. Exhale, bend the knees, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Big inhale, arms up overhead, palms meet, and exhale, palms to heart center and down to your sides. Big inhale, arms up, shape of the sun. And exhale, swan dive as we forward fold. So arms out long, take up that space. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, step or hop back, and we'll flow through your vinyasa. So what's vinyasa always mean? Vinyasa means plank, exhale, chaturanga, inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog. So that is your vinyasa. You can always bring the knees down for a modification as well. Okay, last one here, guys. Inhale, heels up, exhale, bend the knees, step or hop to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Big inhale, root to rise, arms up overhead, and exhale, hands to heart center and down to our sides. Big inhale, arms up, and exhale, swan dive as we forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or hop back, flowing through your vinyasa, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. We'll be here for a few rounds, so if you have water, tea, coffee, anything like that, feel free to grab that. And then we'll get ready to move into the flow. Again, in downward facing dog, just for a few breaths. Really push away. You want even weight, even distribution in the hands and the feet. You don't want anything working more than the other. Definitely want equal weight in the hands as well, just to make sure you don't have any wrist injuries or you don't create any from this position. Just a few more breaths. Okay, inhale that right foot up towards the sky. And as we exhale, that right knee is going to go to our right elbow. Just a moment. Inhale back up to the sky. And exhale, right knee to left elbow. Inhale, 3-legged dog. And exhale, bring the right foot to the top of the mat. Staying on the ball mount of the back left foot, will rise for crescent. So big inhale here. Nice bend in that front knee. So you want that knee to be over the ankle, just again to prevent any knee injuries here. And you want to stay very strong on the ball mount of that left foot. bring that heel up as high as you can go today. And you'll inhale those arms up overhead, so they should be framing the ears. And again, keeping the hips squared as well, keeping that core activated. And just find your drishti, find anything to focus on. And again, big inhale for lengthening and straightening the spine. And as we exhale, that will allow us to dig a little bit deeper, lunge a little bit deeper into that front knee. Last inhale here. And as we exhale, let's bring that right hand to our left thigh to exalt our crescent. So when we do that, you want to bring the left hand up to the sky, and maybe the gaze follows. Now, if balance isn't here today, just keep staring right towards the front of the room. And just bring that the right hand rather, wherever you have the space. So maybe it can crawl down even a little bit deeper. And inhale. Find a nice little back bend. Last inhale here, guys. As we exhale, that left hand is gonna go to the mat by that right foot, and we're gonna move into side plank. So shift that way over to the outer edge blade of the left foot and stack that right foot right on top of it. Now I'll walk you through some modifications here. If you're feeling a little wobbly and balance isn't your friend today, just keep both feet on the mat like this. If strength is just not your friend, or you kind of want to take it easy today, this modification is always here for you by just bending that left knee and placing that on the mat as well. So for me today, I'm just going to do our normal side plank so I can walk you through how that should feel. So here in side plank, you really want to push at that left hand, round and scoop that left shoulder blade in so it can help you push those hips up. Now you want to gaze at the mat if you're feeling wobbly. If you want to play with your balance, you can always gaze towards the sky. Now if you're wanting to find playfulness in your side plank, which is what I get from a lot of people, the goal is to get the entire left foot sealed onto the mat so that big toe is grounded into. So you can play with doing that by bending the legs like this. Once that left foot is completely grounded, maybe you extend it long again and bring that right foot and that right knee up, grabbing it with the right hand. If you're here today, that's great. Just extend that long, stay strong, and we're gonna move to wild thing. So slowly place that right foot to the mat or to the ground. It shouldn't be on the mat here. And just inhale and open that chest up. Still finding that scooping motion with that left shoulder blade. Big inhale here, guys. As we exhale, bring those hips to the mat, keeping that right foot bent, or that right knee bent rather. And we'll find a straight spine for just a moment. And we'll inhale back up to wild thing. And then keeping that core activated, let's bring that right foot up, stack over the left, just for a moment. And then we'll find low lunge to the top of our mat, as slow as you can, guys. Keeping that core activated. Placing that left heel down, we'll inhale for low lunge. So really feeling a nice stretch into that left quad, getting those hips nice and heavy, and framing the ears with the arms. Really sink those hips down. Keep a little tuck in the tailbone here for a straight spine. And again, just let those exhales let you lunge a little bit deeper. Big inhale, gaze up towards the sky. And as we exhale, we're gonna find that same exalted motion. So that right hand's gonna find the left thigh, or if you have the space, the left shin. And you wanna keep the left arm here, kind of framing that left ear and rotating it so that shoulder should be meeting towards the ground a little bit here, thumb up towards the sky. And you'll gaze up. Just for a few rounds. Doing great. And we'll exhale both hands to the mat. We're gonna tuck that back toe, lift the knee, step the right foot back and flow through your vinyasa. Meeting in downward facing dog. Just a few rounds here as we move to the next side. Okay, we'll inhale that left foot up towards the sky. Exhale it to our left shoulder, or our left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale over to our right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. And exhale that left foot to the top of the mat. Staying on the ball mound of the right foot. We'll we'll find our crescent. So again, keeping about a 90-degree bend into that front leg, knee over ankle, and keeping those hips squared towards the front of the mat as well. Big inhale here for length, and exhale, lunge a little bit deeper here. Awesome, guys. Just a few more rounds, finding that steady balance, that steady and firm foundation. Biggest inhale. And then as we exhale, we'll exalt our crescent so that left hand should be on that right leg somewhere. And we'll gaze up towards the sky. Feeling a nice stretch in that right side body. Finding just a little lift of the chest, a gentle back bend. And you know where we're going from here. So as you exhale, let's find side plank with our right hand on the mat, and we'll go over towards the right side, stacking those feet over one another, lifting the hips up. And again, find a good foundation. Make sure you're feeling grounded and rooted. And if you're wanting to play with, pushing the legs up and playing with the left leg floating, all you're gonna wanna do is bend into both knees, really ground into that right foot, keeping that big toe on the mat as much as you can. So exhale, bend. Inhale, length, length, length. Bring that left foot up with you when you have the space and the time. Maybe the left hand will grab the left knee here again. Just for a moment. And then slowly find your wild thing. Placing the left foot behind you, opening up the chest. And as we exhale, we'll bring the hips to the mat just for a moment, finding that straight spine. And we'll inhale back up. And we'll find our side plank. Slowly and controlled, find that low lunge. So go as slow as you can, keeping the core activated. Bring that right knee down. Inhale up to the front. And exhale, bow in. Awesome, guys. That is not an easy transition at all. So wherever you are in that space during that moment, just be proud of yourself for trying and working on that. Big inhale, hips deep, deep, letting gravity kind of push them towards the mat. Nice stretch in that front right quad. And a couple more rounds. Last inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to find that exalted motion again. So wherever you have the space on that right thigh or that right shin, and just gaze up towards the ceiling. And exhale, both hands to the mat, moving from plank, flowing through your vinyasa. And we'll meet in downward facing dog. Now we'll be here for a few rounds, so if you want to take a second to grab some water, towel off. I'm already sweating, so you might be sweating too. Please feel free to do so. If you're still with me in downward facing dog, I think the best way to explain it, I'm just going to word vomit what I am always internally thinking here. So when I'm resting in my downward facing dog, when a teacher or instructor cues 5 breaths, what I'm doing here, I'm pushing so much into my palms, guys. Really grounding down, pushing those fingertips in here as well, because when I do that, my chest is now just going in towards the thighs. You don't want your feet or your legs to be doing any more work than your hands or your palms. So kind of as you do that, ground into the feet. Now the feet should be about 2 fists away from each other, or maybe just slightly over the hips as well, if you're looking for a width there. Just sway if that feels good for you. Maybe you shake the head left to right, yes and no. Okay, we'll go through that on both sides again, and we'll go a little bit faster, linking that breath to movement. So we'll inhale the right foot up, and as we exhale, we'll bring the right knee to right elbow. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, left elbow. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, 2 crescent. Big inhale, exhale, settle in. Last inhale here, exhale to exalt. Maybe you look over that right shoulder. Exhale, left hand to the mat, moving through your side plank. So we went through a few different variations. If you want to immediately pick up that right foot or that right leg, do so. And just really, really push into that left thigh, or I'm sorry, the left hand. Exhale into your wild thing. Big inhale. Exhale, hips down. Inhale, hips right back up. Finding that side plank and moving into your low lunge. Placing that left knee down. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, exalt. And we'll inhale the arms to the mat, the hands to the mat. Stepping back to plank and finding your vinyasa. You guys are doing great. And downward facing dog. Right away here, let's pick up that left leg and we'll exhale to our left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. And exhale to our crescent. Inhale as we rise. Exhale to settle. Last inhale here. And exhale to exalt. Placing that left hand on the right thigh. And exhaling that right hand down. Going through your side plank. Maybe lifting up that left leg right away. Finding something to gaze at. And slowly going to your wild thing. Really pushing into that left sole of the foot. Letting your chest open up. And we'll exhale those hips down for a moment. And we'll inhale those hips right back up. Exhale to side plank just to transition. And then we'll bring that left foot to the top of the mat. Placing the right knee down for low lunge. And we'll exhale to exalt that lunge. Big inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step or hop back, flowing through your vinyasa. And then we'll all meet in a child's pose. So knees out to the edges of the mat, hips heavy. Crown of the head onto the mat. Or I'm sorry, third eye onto the mat here. And just let those arms extend out and long. And just come back to your normal rhythm of breath. I know definitely during that time it can get a little faster, working up a sweat, right? Building up some heat. So use this time to just find your center and come back to it. Just a few rounds here. I love massaging my third eye in child's pose. I feel like my neck gets like an added stretch here as well. And we're gonna go through that once more on each side, adding a bit at the end. So we'll slow it down a bit at the end so I can kind of walk us through what we're doing. So when you are ready here, we'll meet we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Inhale that right foot up towards the sky. Exhale to that right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale to the top of our mat. Inhale for crescent. Exhale to settle. Big inhale and exhale as we exalt. Inhale. Exhale to that side plank. Just for a moment. Slowly start finding that wild thing as we bend and open the chest. Exhale, hips to the mat. Inhale, hips up. Moving through side plank as we find that low lunge here. Placing that left knee down. We're going to exalt right away. So left hand up, right hand to left thigh. And exhale to vinyasa. And inhale, downward facing dog. And right away, pick up the right foot. And exhale to the top of the mat. We're finding low lunge. So that left knee will be on the mat. Inhale, arms up towards the sky. And as we exhale, we'll find half splits. And then we're going to just simply place the bum on the ground, however it is. So that left knee will be bent here. And the right leg will be extended long. We're going to inhale that left arm up and over. Finding a nice little side stretch, side body stretch in the left side. Inhale back to center. Now, this is going to be a funky move. We're going to go to downward facing dog to the back of our mat. So from here, just bring those hands to the back of the mat. Twist on over that left knee. And now that left foot's going to go up for three-legged dog. And we'll meet to our left elbow here. And back on up. Meet to our right elbow. Stay for a moment. Extend that left leg out long and find fallen triangle. So that left hand will be down, right hand will be up overhead. Really ground into the left foot, that left big toe, and feel the outer edge blade of the right foot to the mat as well. As you gaze up towards the sky. Exhale those hips down. Now we're in a wide-legged fold, and we're gonna just fold in. So keeping a straight spine, keeping the legs as long as they are, and spider crawl up towards the front of the room. Awesome. Just coming back and finding that center. Inhale, as you spider crawl those hands back up towards the front. And we're simply going to just find downward facing dog to the top of the mat here. So if you're in your wide-legged forward fold, just bend, nothing fancy. Bend the left leg, kind of push in and bend into the right knee. And then you'll just meet in downward facing dog. We'll skip the vinyasa for there. So we'll do that a few more. Let's do that once more on the left side, and then we'll do another round just so we can kind of get used to that movement here. So again, let's inhale that left leg up long. Exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee to right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog. And exhale to crescent. Or inhale to crescent, exhale to settle. Big inhale here. Exhale as we exalt up toward, or gaze up towards the sky. And exhale, placing the right hand down, finding side plank. So maybe you just play with bringing that right foot up, or I'm sorry, the left foot up right away. And slowly finding that wild thing here again, pushing into the left sole of the foot. And exhale those hips down for a moment. Inhale right back on up. Go through side plank as we move to our low lunge with that left foot at the top of the mat. And bring that right knee down, exalting right away here. Inhale that right arm up. Perfect. And we'll exhale to vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog right away. Pick up that left foot and exhale it to the top of the mat for a low lunge. Inhale, arms up. And then we'll exhale half splits just for a moment. And then we'll inhale back to that low lunge just once more. And then we'll exhale and find that same fold. So we'll keep the right knee bent and that left leg will be long. And then we'll inhale that right arm up overhead, gaze up towards the sky to keep that chest open. Don't, dip in here, let that length help us out. And again, nothing fancy here, just find downward facing dog to the back of your mat. So I like to find some sway, some movement. So here's exactly what I'm thinking right now. I'm here and I want to get to downward face dog on the back of my mat. What am I going to do? I'm going to just make a circular motion with that right hand. Let that momentum kind of push me up here, twisting on the left, or the right knee rather. And I'll inhale the right leg up. And I'll exhale to that right elbow. And I'll inhale right leg up. Exhale to left elbow, stay for a moment. Find some connection there if you can. And then extend that right leg out long, finding fallen triangle. So pushing into my right hand as my chest goes up towards the sky. Awesome, guys. And we'll exhale those hips down to the mat. Big inhale here to wide leg fold. And exhale that chest towards the mat. Awesome. This is not easy stuff, and these are pretty fast movements, so kudos for you. Okay, we'll inhale and spider crawl those hands back to the straight spine. And again, we're just going to find that downward facing dog motion here. So exactly what I'm doing, I'm just going to bend that right knee, push into the left leg as I bend that left knee, and I'll move to downward facing dog. Okay, awesome, guys. All right, so we're going to end with a few, or we'll do some more poses here too, but we're gonna end the flow with some balancing poses just to find some focus here. So spider crawl the hands back towards the feet. Inhale just for length for a moment to straighten out that spine. And exhale, fold. Big inhale as we root to rise, arms up overhead and palms to heart center. So we're gonna work on tree here. So keeping the feet about hip distance apart.
Finding something to gaze on right away here, and we'll lift up our right leg to bring the right foot. We have a few options here. So tree, I'll do it this way. So tree can look like this. This is tree. Tree can look like this. Tree cannot look like this because we don't want to hurt our elbows. Or lastly here, tree can look like this. So find out where you are today. Once you do find that comfort, we'll keep the left hand on that left hip just for balance for a moment. And just feel the movement in that left foot, right? That left ankle is working, that left foot's definitely working to keep you up, and really push into the right foot so you can open up that right thigh. Now your hands can be at heart center. You can grow some branches here, or you can keep them on your hips. And again, just find something to gaze at. Now this isn't a passive pose at all. It can easily become that if you don't work on it. Activate the glutes, activate the thighs, keep the core engaged. If you want even an added test, like if this is super easy for you today, maybe you try to close your eyes, focus on that movement and that balance of the left foot. Be here for 3, 2, 1, and release. Roll out the ankles, definitely that left. All my toes just cracked. And we'll get ready to switch sides here. So again, now whichever variation you want to choose and you want to play with, just go ahead and move there today, or move there now. So bringing that right foot up to the position of choice, really pushing that left foot into the inner right thigh. And maybe play with a different variation for your hand. So if you did heart center, maybe we grow our branches this time. And again, keeping the glutes activated, keeping that core activated. Acknowledging and accepting the movement of the right foot and the ankle. They are keeping you grounded, right? You are staying balanced on one foot. That's pretty cool. It's a few breaths. 2. And 1, release and roll out that opposite side. Oh, sorry, guy. He's going crazy. Okay, let's inhale the arms up, shape of the sun, just to wring out that balance. And we'll exhale, hinge at the hips and fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale back to downward facing dog. And if you'd like to, we'll do one more vinyasa just to kind of clear out that pose today. Meeting in downward facing dog. And then just going onto your knees just for a transition. And we'll meet on our bums. So we're gonna work on double pigeon here. So with double pigeon, my favorite rule of thumb that I actually learned and I love telling my students and my clients, don't force what's not happening in double pigeon. So if you're like yanking it here to get that stuff up here, like that's not good. We want you to just accept, love, be where you naturally are to double pigeon. So a good way to get into it, just lean the weight back, lean those hips back. We'll start with the left shin on top of the right. So as you have the weight back in those hands, all you're gonna do is bring the left ankle up to the right knee as much as you can today. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be here. You can be right here today. Just try to work on making a square or a boxed position with both legs, and you should really be feeling it in the outer hips. So again, not forcing what's not there, just let your legs do the work, and you'll just find a nice straight spine. As long as you kind of have, the ankles somewhere in the direction of the knee and kind of keeping those shins stacked, that's kind of the important part for double pigeon. So I know for a lot of people, me half the time, this is plenty. I'm feeling this right now. But if I want to feel more, or if I'm looking to see kind of just what that feels like, I'll walk you through that as well. So, sorry, you should probably be at the front of your mat. I'm kind of facing you guys so you can see me if you're kind of just confused on what the heck I'm talking about, so you have that visual. So if you're right here and that's good for you, just stay there. Maybe you close your eyes, bring those palms to your heart. Just notice the beat, the natural rhythm of your breath. If you're wanting more, let's inhale those arms up overhead. And then as we exhale, slowly just start crawling them towards the front of the room, or the front of your mat here, and keeping a straight spine. Again, letting those fingertips help out. Push them into the mat here as you round and separate the shoulder blades a little bit. And then as you get deeper, finding a nicer, you should be finding a much deeper stretch in the hips if you are doing this. And we did a lot of moving today. We worked a lot of our body, every piece of our body, our core, our hips, our forearms. So
Acknowledge and accept the stillness that will be coming while we cool down with these poses. Coming back to that natural rhythm of your breath. Maybe the forearms can meet the ground at some point after sitting here for a few moments. You know, the longer you sit in these poses, the more your connective tissues are opening, so you can kind of get a little bit deeper into these poses. So when you're ready, we'll switch sides. So again, we're not using our hands. We're just going to bring the weight back to the back of the mat. And we're going to unwind. Before we switch, we're just going to find some windshield wiper actions to kind of wash out the poses there, even up the hips. So what I mean by that, we're switching from our left sit bone to our right. Knees are going the same directions as the hips. And we're just going back and forth. A nice, gentle, easy stretch or hip opener here. Okay. So if you had your left shin on top of the right, now the right will go on there and vice versa. So bringing that left shin to the mat, we'll just bring that right ankle right to that left knee, and then our weight's coming up. So you see, so we're here. We have our right ankle right over the left knee. Weight still in my hands. Now I'm gonna extend back up to that straight spine. So again, make sure those hip bones are grounded. Maybe you sway a few times. Just close the eyes, come back to that natural breath. And if you're ready for more, we'll inhale those arms up once more. And as we exhale, we'll spider crawl them towards the front of the room. Awesome. And just closing your eyes, coming back to that stillness, feeling the opening that's coming from the hips, the outer hips. Awesome. We will spider crawl back up to that straight spine, and we'll just meet on our backs here. So on our backs, let's bring the knees into the chest just for a moment, and we'll grab the outer edge blades of the feet for happy baby. So happy baby, what we want to do here, we want to have a nice grip on the outer edge blade of the feet as we push those knees down towards the ground. Kind of away, diagonal from the armpits, I would say, diagonal down. Neck long, staring up towards the ceiling. Make sure that lower back is flush to the mat here, so maybe you peel the tailbone up just slightly, removing that natural arch. And from here, if you like that stillness that, naturally comes, please stay here. If you're looking to kind of play in this happy baby, maybe you sway from side to side, adding a nice bonus stretch to the lower back. Or maybe we extend one leg out at a time. Awesome. Just a few breaths. All right, we'll release that happy baby and bring the soles of the feet onto the mat, knees pointed up towards the sky. We're going to work through 2 back bends here. So the first one will be bridge pose. I'll walk you through that, and then next we're going to go to wheel. So if you're opened up and you're ready to go to wheel, definitely go there now. If you're kind of sticking with me in bridge, well, brain fart, I want you to bring the heels closer towards the bum. You should be able to graze those Achilles tendons with the fingertips and really keep that chest nice and open. And as we inhale, we'll just start driving into the heels as we push the hips up towards the sky. Now, if you have it in you, you can interlace those hands behind your back and start rolling those shoulder blades up towards the back as well. So you're kind of getting some added height in the chest area. Really drive down in the heels as you push the hips up. That clasp, hold that tight, and just breathe. We're here for 4 more breaths. Activating the thighs, the glutes. 2, and 1, let it go. Now, if you're not ready for wheel yet, just go back into that bridge position that I did cue here now.
If you are working on your wheel pose, I'll walk you through that as well. So keep the feet exactly where they are. If you can still graze them, that's great. With the hands, we're going to flip them over, right? So the fingertips will be pointing towards the front of the mat, kind of right by our ears. So in line with the ears. Really want to push down. Okay, so just setting up here. Let's do a big inhale. And exhale to let it go. Now your next inhale is going to push you guys up. So let's do one more together before we go up. Just a big inhale, filling up the body. And exhale, go. All right, inhale, pushing up to that wheel pose, guys. So we really want to think about pushing the chest up towards the back of the mat here through the arms. The legs are doing a lot of work here too, so keep the glutes activated as you drive the heels in. Just staring up towards the back of the mat here. You don't want to, stare up towards the sky or anything. You just want to keep the neck and the chin nice and loose. Really just push in. If anything, just get used to this pose. Get used to breathing into here. You're breathing into positions and spaces that you normally don't, so your body's probably just trying to figure it all out, so just let that happen. When you are ready, just go ahead and get down. And I will count us down if you're still with me. So we got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let it go. Nice, guys. Nice job. Okay, so we'll end with just a simple twist here. If there's anything else I left out after the twist, please move from there, but we'll go from our twist right to our resting pose. So we'll find a nice supine twist. Let's hug those knees in close to the chest. And as we exhale, we'll place them towards the right side of the room and extend that left hand out long. Now knees can be bent, legs can be straight. However you feel or however you're feeling today. Grounding those shoulder blades into the mat here as we gaze over the left hand. And if you want a little personal assist, just bring that right hand to the outer edge of the left thigh. And just come back to your normal breath. Awesome. Inhale those knees back up to center. And as we exhale right away, place them over to the left side of the room as we gaze over the right hand. Awesome. Feeling that nice stretch, that nice twist. This is good for your lower back. It's good for digestion. So even if after you've ate or, before you go to bed, if you want to do some twisting poses, that will really help you detoxify, what you've ate kind of from the day. Now, so we'll inhale back to center. One more big squeeze. Give your body a nice hug. Thank it for all it's done for you today, especially on the mat these last 60 minutes. Big inhale and exhale, let it go. So take up space here. We'll have the heels towards the bottom corners of the mat. Maybe even the arms are overhead today, or maybe they're right by your side. If you want to receive some energy, just bring those palms up towards the sky. If you want to ground down kind of the energy you've created today within your body, just bring the palms to the ground. So not towards the sky, just flip them on over. And if you're like, what the heck, I don't know what I'm feeling today, let's bring the hands to our belly and our chest and just focus on that breath. Focus on the rise and fall of the belly. And again, just get heavy. Eyelids heavy. Tongue off the roof of the mouth. Shaking the head from left to right to let that neck relax. Letting the knees fall open, letting the feet fall open as well. Savasana. Now, if you follow my Patreon or YouTube channel, I will probably start sounding like a broken record at some point because I will always, always encourage a longer and deeper Savasana if you do have the time for that. Now, if you don't have the time for that, you're still a yogi, you're still doing so much for yourself, but I know sometimes it's nice to have a helpful reminder that yes, you can rest, you deserve the rest for as long as or as little as you choose. So if you would like to sit here and you have the time, please pause this video. If you're ready to wake up with me, we'll do so now by just rolling to either side of the body, so left or right side, finding that fetal position, whatever's going to be comfortable for you. And then using whichever arm is on the ground as a seat here for the pillow. Wow, as a seat here for the pillow. Finding that fetal position and using that forearm or that, hang on, why is this one all of a sudden? So finding that fetal position here, using that bottom arm as a pillow. And just finding one more breath. And whichever hand or whichever arm you're not laying on, of course, use that hand to kind of push you on up. And we'll find a seat at the top of our mat. Keeping the eyes closed if you feel comfortable doing so. And we'll bring our palms to heart center. We'll do just a few collective breaths together to close out this practice. Big inhale here, fill up the spine, fill up the lower body, the rib cages, and we'll exhale side on out. Last inhale here, and big exhale. It's always my honor to guide you through this practice of something that means so much to me, and the fact that I can share it to you and you trust me to guide you through this will always mean so much to me. So with that being said, the student, the teacher in me honors and sees the student and teacher in each and every one of you. We'll inhale those arms up overhead just for a moment, and we'll exhale palms to heart center, and then we'll namaste, bringing that third eye to the mat or to the ground. Namaste.